In this video, we will learn how to find the square root of a decimal number. Suppose we have a number that is 0.81, and we have to find the square root of this number. So what will we do? Like in the previous lesson, we have learned that we can find the square root of a number by multiplying two numbers. We will have to think of two such numbers that if we multiply with each other give us 81. So if we think of 8 multiplied by 8, that gives us 64. What about 9 multiplied by 9? If we multiply 9 multiplied by 9, it gives us 81. So now we can also write it as, if you multiply 0.9 multiplied by 0.9, it will give us 0.81. So we can also write this as 0.9 multiplied by 0.9 under the square root. Now we can write it as 0.9 whole square under the square root. We will cancel the radical sign and the square with each other, and we have 0.9, which is the square root of 0.81. We have another example. If we want to find the square root of 1.21, we want to find the square root of 1.21. So we will divide this 1.21 divided by 100. When we remove this point, we write 1 in the denominator and we write 0 in place of the other integers. Now we have two integers to the right side of the point, so we will write two zeros. So it's now 121 divided by 100 under the square root. Dividing it by 100 is just for the purpose of removing 1 and removing the point. So now we can think of two such numbers that if we multiply give us 121. So if we multiply 11 by 11, it will give us 121. All right. If we multiply 10 multiplied by 10, it will give us 100 under the square root equals, we can also write it as 11 whole square divided by 10 whole square under the square root. We will cancel this square with the radical sign and this square also with the radical sign. Remember that this radical sign or the square root symbol is for both the numerator and the denominator. So we have 11 divided by 10, or we can also have 1.1. So this is the square root of 1.21. Now we have to find the square root of 6.25. To find the square root of 6.25, we will use the technique that we used in the previous example, in the second example. So we will write 6.25 and we will remove this point symbol. In place of this point, we will write 1 in the denominator and a couple of zeros for the other two integers and the radical sign. So it's now quite easy for us. So if we multiply 25 by 25, it will give us 625, and if we multiply 10 multiplied by 10, it will give us 100. All right, so 25 square divided by 10 square under the square root. If we cancel this with this and this with this, it will give us 25 divided by 10. which if we simplify further, 5 multiplied by 5 equals 25, and 2 divided by and 2 multiplied by 5 equals 10. So this is also the answer. You can also write it, leave it like this, but if you want to simplify it further, so you can also simplify it. So 2.5, if we divide 5 by 2, it will give us 2.5. So this is also the square root of 6.2, 6.25, and 5 divided by 2 is also the square root of 6.525. Now let's try out another example. In this example, we have this here to find the square root of 0.04. So we will write it as 0.04. We will remove this point, and in the denominator we will replace it with 1, and we will write a couple of zeros and the square root symbol. So now we have 4 in the numerator and we have 100 in the denominator. So if you multiply 2 by 2 and 10 by 10, it will give us the required numbers and the square root symbol. So we can also write it as 2 square divided by 10 square. It will give us 2 divided by 10. Simplify it further, it will give us 1 divided by 5, and if we divide it, it will give us 0.2, which is the required square root. So I hope you have learned a lot about square roots now. Still, if you have any question, you can ask in the comment section below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next videos.